Hello, eager learners. Hopefully you're having a great start to your week. At the beginning of every week on Monday, in the announcements, you will find a weekly overview video. This video is going to walk you through exactly what we're going to be doing each week in an effort to help you heighten your ability to plan your time wisely and well. A lot of research goes to support the notion that the things that make for successful students are not higher IQ or good test scores or anything like that. It's really the ability to plan your time well and to network, to make connections, and to ask for help when you need it. So I want to give you the tools you need to be successful, and one of those tools I can give you is this heads up of how each week is going to go. So probably the thing you're going to find most helpful this quarter is your calendar tab. All of the classes you're enrolled in will appear in this list. Make sure you select our class and you'll be able to look at what we're doing every single week. So this week, we've got a lot of recorded lectures we're working with because these recorded lectures are going to provide the groundwork we need to understand not only the Murder on the Orient Express novel by Agatha Christie, but also to understand the essay writing process and how to bring in different components of analysis and academic writing. So lots of really good stuff coming our way. So on Monday, you're going to view a really fun recorded lecture called Murder, Not Muck Duck. If you watch The Office and you enjoy that TV show, I hope you enjoy the reference here. There's a meme in the PowerPoint that explains it if you need more explanation. Then on Tuesday, you're going to be answering some questions on Murder on the Orient Express. You will need to have read chapters 1 through 5 in totality by this point. And also watch the PowerPoint on the Lindbergh tragedy. Agatha Christie was a murder mystery writer. She wrote fiction, but she was inspired by real life. And there was a real life case very similar to the Murder on the Orient Express case. A famous aviator or airplane pilot, Charles Lindbergh, had a young son, a 2-year-old, who was kidnapped from their family home and was later found deceased in a huge tragedy that kind of shook the nation, because Lindbergh was very, very famous, very wealthy, and very influential. It would be like if something like that happened to the Kardashians. Like, everyone would know about it. It would be a big deal. That was the case with the Lindbergh tragedy as well. So lots of good fodder, I guess, for Agatha Christie as she looked at this case, looked at its weirdly unresolved nature, and wanted to create some kind of conclusion for it in her own novel, which she does in Murder on the Orient Express. On Wednesday, you're going to watch a 2-part lecture. It is 2-part because my recording software limits me to 15 minutes, which is normally a really good thing because I love to talk, which is why I became a teacher. But I tried to keep most of my lectures below 15 minutes. This one got a little long because there was a lot to talk about. So in totality, it's about 25 minutes between the 2 parts. So make sure you plan that time to watch that. And then you have a discussion board on how justice is different from revenge. Now, these are 2 key terms in Agatha Christie's novel, and they are essential to understand as we begin thinking about our essay. So make sure to really dig into that discussion board. Then we have one more recorded lecture for the week, and this is on murder mystery tropes. Agatha Christie was such a fabulous murder mystery author that almost all the murder mystery authors that have come after her have copied her in one way or another. And those things that they copied are called tropes. And so this PowerPoint points out some of the things that she was one of the first people to do, or was one of the first people to do really well, that everybody else has decided to copy. So that's fun. And then over the weekend, you're going to be reading Murder on the Orient Express chapters 6 through 8. If you have the 2017 book version, these page numbers are accurate. If you have any other version, you'll have to read chapters 6 through 8, and the pages will be different, and that's okay. Everything you need to be successful in this class is located in the Modules tab. So that calendar tells us what we're doing every day of the week. The Modules tab gives us everything we need to complete those activities. So I've got all the PowerPoints for you here. The recorded lecture for Murder Not Muck Duck is located here. If you want the PowerPoint form so you can refer to slides after you've watched the lecture, I've got that for you here. I also have a video clip for you, a really funny one. Agatha Christie was so famous that people like to talk about her, right? So there is a show on Comedy Central called Drunk History. And if you're not familiar with it, the premise is pretty simple. They find someone who is an expert on a topic, an expert on a historical event or a historical figure. They get that expert very, 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 very drunk. and then they have them tell everything they know about the topic. And then they fact check it, obviously, as they should. And then they hire actors to act out the drunk person's stories. And it is as magnificent as you might imagine. Like, it's just so good. So watch the Drunk History episode on Agatha Christie, because it will change your life. Not really, but it's very funny. And it shows how Agatha Christie really had mystery woven into her real life as well as the fiction that she wrote. Here are the close reading strategies lecture videos part 1 and 2. Once again, I've included the PowerPoint for you if you want to refer to those slides later and you don't want to have to click through a whole video. That's there for you. Then we've got some work on symbolism, historical context for Murder on the Orient Express, and the Lindbergh tragedy. So lots of supplemental things in addition to the required things if you want some more background on the novel. Supporting materials, these are articles you'll be reading throughout our unit on Murder on the Orient Express. Probably the thing you're going to be finding most helpful right now is the vocabulary and French language guide, just because there's some wonky words in here and some French language that you may not be familiar with. So all that's available for you here, as well as a diagram of the train car if you're a very visual kind of person and you're trying to figure out where everybody was and who might have murdered somebody. That's available. So lots of good stuff there. And then as we get into our subsequent weeks, the things you need to be successful in the essay are all here for you as well. Lots of lectures to help you, lots of PowerPoints, lots of worksheets. So if you want to be successful in these units, make sure that you are using all the resources that were provided for you, especially watch through the lectures. They are shorter than if you had to sit in class with me. So that's a bonus. Most of them are limited to 15 minutes, whereas if we were in a physical classroom, you'd have to hear me yammer for like 50 minutes. So very efficient use of your time here. So make sure you watch them because they'll help you out, I promise. And that's what we have coming up this week. Check the calendar for your daily assignments, check the modules for your supporting materials, and reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to help.